beautiful garland, we get the Gita Upanishad, we get the Bhagavad Gita. So this is explained in our scriptures, describing how the Gita is the essence of all the beauty, of all the concentrated wisdom of all the Upanishads. So it's very powerful. And what does Upanishad mean? Upa means to sit near, ni means to sit down, and shad means to listen. So to come, sit near, down by the spiritual master and listen. And listen to what? Listen to a very secretive, very special secret. And what is that secret? Raja Vidya, Raja Guhyam, Pavitram Idam Uttamam, Pratyaksha Avagamam Dharmyam, Susukham Kartum Avyayam. That knowledge, which is Raja Vidya, it's the king of all knowledge. It is Rajakuyam. It is the most secretive of all knowledge. Pratyaksha Avagamam Dharmyam, Susukham Kartum Avyayam. And as soon as you hear it, and as soon as you perform it, this knowledge is performed joyfully. It brings joy, it brings bliss to one's heart. That is what the Bhagavad Gita represents. And so this garland of verses, this garland of 700 flowers is the Bhagavad Gita. And what makes it so special? So we know from the Brahma Samhita that the breathing of Mahavishnu is compared to the Vedas. That breathing is compared to the Vedas. So as Mahavishnu exhales, the Vedas personified, manifested. But on the other side, we see the Gita, which is directly from Krishna's lips, right? Directly from the beautiful lips of Madhusudana, of Keshava, of Krishna. And what makes that so much more special? Well, Krishna, right? Krishnastu Bhagavansa Swayam. Ete chamsa kalapumsa. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Indra arivyakulam lokam vidayanti yuge yuge. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vishnu is an expansion of Krishna, right? Ishvara Parama Krishna, Satchidananda Vigraha, Anadir Adir Govinda, Sarvakarana Karanam. So Krishna is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? So this Bhagavad Gita is so special. It's not from the breathing of Mahavishnu, rather it is from the lips of Krishna, the Supreme Person. So it's even more special, right? It's even more special that way. So we can't talk about Gita Mahatmya without talking about a very, very important personality. And that is Sriman Adi Sankaracharya. He was a saint from the 8th century, and he is known to be the expansion of Sadashiva. He preached Advaita philosophy, Advaita Vedanta, which is a little different from our Dvaita philosophy, or Achintya Veda philosophy. It's a bit different. However, at the very end of his prayers, he always mentions, like in the Gita Govinda, he mentions the Bhagavad Gita, and there are 3 things he mentions to live a life of fulfillment. I have some notes, and those are: one is to sing the Gita. Sing the Gita, why? Because, so if you would like to be fulfilled, you do these 3 things. One is you sing the Gita. Why? Because the Gita is a song. So we sing the Gita, and then you do Nama Sahasranam. You chant the Vishnu Sahasranam. Of course, in our context, that means chanting our 16 rounds. That means chanting the Lord's name thousands of times. And drinking the nectar of the deity form of Krishna, to observe the deity, right, with our eyes. So he was a profound scholar of Vedanta philosophy. He has shaped pretty much most of the Indian subcontinent's Vedic philosophy, and his views on the Gita he has condensed and made a beautiful short dissertation called the Gita Mahatmya, where he glorifies the Gita. And I would like to share one verse with all of you. And I'm sure you, many of you may know this verse. It's very popular. It should be. It's so beautiful. It goes like this. Gita Mahatmya, verse 6. Sarvo Upanishado Gavo Dugdha Gopala Nandana Partho Vatsa Sudhir Bhokta Dugdham Gitamritam Mahat. Sarvo Upanishado Gavo. All of the Upanishads are like cows, right? And how many Upanishads are there? Well, there's 108 main Upanishads. The Chandogya Upanishad, Isha Upanishad, Katha Upanishad, trying to remember from Sunday school. Many Upanishads like this, right? So there's 108 cows, right? And who is milking these cows? Dugdha Gopala Nandana. Gopala Nandana, the son of Nanda Maharaj, Gopal, is milking these cows. Sri Krishna himself is milking the cows of the Upanishads, right? This vast Vedic philosophy is being milked by Krishna. Partho Vatsa Sudhir Bhokta. So Partho refers to Arjuna. Vatsa is a very beautiful Sanskrit word that I'm going to bring my. Vatsa is a very beautiful Sanskrit word that refers to the little calf. And who is the first priority when a cow gives milk? Of course, unfortunately, that's not always the case right now. But usually, the case is that the calf, the child of the cow, gets the first priority when the cow is being milked, right? It's their son or daughter. It's very important that the cow gets nourishment. And the calf gets nourishment? And who is that calf? That calf is Partha. That calf is Arjuna. So he is the first priority, the first recipient of this beautiful nectarian milk. Dugdham Gitamritam Mahat. Sudhir Bhokta. So all the other devotees around, a fine theistic intellect, are the drinkers and enjoyers of that milk. So I'll read the translation. All the Upanishads are like a cow, and the milker of the cow is Lord Sri Krishna, the son of Nanda. Arjuna is the calf, the beautiful nectar of the Gita is the milk, and the fortunate devotees of fine theistic intellect are the drinkers and enjoyers of that milk. So milk provides nourishment. Milk provides, I was trying to think about in the context why Shankaracharya used this particular analogy, right, to describe the Gita. Milk gives us nourishment. Milk sustains us. Milk provides us with energy. When we can't drink cow's milk, we look for so many alternatives. When we can't digest cow's milk, there's goat's milk, almond milk. Just milk is so necessary, right, for nourishment. It strengthens our intellect and allows us to think clearly, walk through life clearly. And there's so much wholesome nutrients that can be found in this milk. And that milk is the Gita, this nectarian conglomeration of 700 verses is this nectar, right? The cow over here, you're seeing this beautiful picture of Krishna and Radharani. Krishna is milking the cow and the calf is eagerly drinking that milk. So when Krishna, as the deft cowherd boy, as he milks this cow, the milk becomes even sweeter from the Upanishads. And the calf, which is Arjuna, is very eagerly drinking this milk, right? There's this analogy Prabhupada uses, right? When atheists may talk about Krishna consciousness subjects or speak Krishna consciousness, it's compared to how a serpent touches milk. But the opposite is true when like Krishna touches milk, or Krishna is milking this milk, it becomes even more blissful, even more purified, even more enjoyable. So that is what the Bhagavad Gita is. It's this nectarian milk that we all cannot get enough of, right? Arjuna is the first recipient, but we are all in line for this overflowing nectar. We are all in line for this nectar. And one thing I'm trying to explore in this talk is not just how we can appreciate it based on the beautiful verses, which we have been doing for the past 2 weeks, but also how we can appreciate the Gita by how it is timeless, how it is a gift that doesn't stop giving, right? From its inception, when it was spoken on the battlefield to the Kurukshetra, to present day 21st century, how it has been relevant and alive in our lives. I would like to explore that. I would like to explore how this milk of the Bhagavad Gita is simply overflowing, inundating the world, and how it can bring so much positivity and light during the crises of this world. So that is going to be the main topic of today's class. What makes the Gita timeless? All right. I want to check if I've talked about everything so far. Okay. All right. Okay. So some statistics about the Gita. It has been translated into approximately 175 languages. Very big thanks to Srila Prabhupada for spreading Krishna consciousness all over the world, and it's just manifested like that. There have been hundreds of commentaries, hundreds, I'm not sure, I couldn't find a real exact number, but there's been so many commentaries of the Gita. But only like about 100 are certified bona fide of the religious sampradayas in India. Many are written by prominent gurus currently, like Osho or Eknath Ishwaran, who is a very prominent scholar in Indian theology. There have been numerous commentaries, and many readers. I saw maybe some, I'm not sure if any of the kids are listening to this lecture, but in high school we read this book called Brave New World. It's part of our required reading in AP literature. And the author of that book was Aldous Huxley, and he's a very prominent philosopher and writer and scholar. And he has also spoken about the Gita and appreciated it. Very appreciated by all the scholars that we find, right? We see on the back of the Gita, Ralph Waldo Emerson, an amazing author who really introspected on what it means to be alive and death and all of these very important questions. He has also appreciated so much appreciation of this Gita. It's been translated into 175 languages. There have been hundreds of commentaries. You can see a few of them. Adi Sankaracharya, Anandagiri, Devagya Pandita, Thanapati Hanumat, Madhusudana, Nilakantha, Sadananda. So many. The list goes on. I only took a few because I could not fit it on my slide. So many people have written the Gita. So many people have written commentaries of the Gita. Okay, I wanted to talk a little bit about Bhagavad Gita in the 21st century, right? Like talking about how it's a timeless text, right? It's not just relevant back then, right? Something I very much struggle with sometimes is feeling that, it's a very real feeling, I think, that spirituality and religion is not so seen in popular culture as being very cool. Like if you are religious, if you're Christian, Hindu, Muslim, and if you're a strict follower, it's not seen as very cool. I've seen from my own experience. But at the same time, we see that the knowledge of the Gita has shaped the reality of so many people worldwide. Two stories I wanted to share was Sharad Kumar, who won the bronze medal in the high jump in the Paralympics for India. He he had gone through a small injury that could have changed his the trajectory for his winning of the Olympics. He had thought of leaving the tournament the day before. And in an interview, I can share, in an interview, he mentions how the Gita has shaped his life. Let me see how we can do this. Optimize for video clip.
Emotional, and it seems that on a day before your final, you were still not decided whether you will actually hit the tracks because you had an injury, but you picked up Bhagavad Gita and took out a quote from there to say what really inspired you to go out on the tracks to compete that evening.
You know, the thing is, it's such an amazing thing that one day before the competition, I was not ready at all. 2 days before the competition, I was saying that, I'm going to break the world record. So this is what the uncertainty of sports is. And yeah, the fact that 2 days, one day before the event, I went for my warm sessions, and then I was just doing my normal. The way I actually got injured was very simple. But like it said, there was a man who did a lot of activities, did a lot of mountain jumpings and all. He didn't die, but he just slipped off a banana peel and died away. So something like that happened to me also. I was like, okay, then I went back to my room. I was crying the whole night to my parents. I was like, it's time to give it up. Like 2012, I missed Rio. I just let it go in an easy way. Here I trained so well, but look at it, the fortunes are not on my side. And I just went on crying. Then I had a friend gifted me a Bhagavad Gita, which I always carry with me, just singing in a pious ways. But then my parents told, see, you always carry it, just read it this time. I read through it, and then I realized that, there's more bigger things. Like, not necessarily the end result is like you got to win. Just participate, do your kartavya, and that is how you get your moksha. That's what is mentioned in that, yeah? So when I entered the arena, I just thank God, saying that, Bhagwan, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद कि मैं इस रीजन पे आकर के जंप्स कर रहा हूँ और बाकी का मुझे पता नहीं कि क्या होने वाला है because I was so underconfident, like I was demotivated, I was shivering. But then I went on, I told my coach that, I will not let any of my opponents know that I'm injured or I'm sad. I will keep smiling with the pain in my mouth. There's no problem.
All right. So I really like this video clip because it explains how he overcame this feeling of deep uncertainty, which is what Arjuna experiences in the Gita by looking through the Gita, and he passes through this door of just seeing the Gita as a pious text and actually reading it. I think that's so powerful. The second thing, for all you cricket fans out there, Hema Jagannath Prabhu, I'm talking to you, is a quote from VVS Lakshman. He's a former Indian international cricketer, and he was explaining that when he was younger, becoming a cricketer, becoming anything non-traditional cricketer, is very, very, with lots of uncertainty is in that decision. And he was originally thinking of going into medicine instead of serving the world with a cricket bat in hand. He would serve the world with a stethoscope. That was his original idea. And he was at this point, and in his own words, I derived inspiration from chapter 12 Bhakti Yoga, which talks, among other things, of doing one's best, surrendering oneself, and not worrying about the results of one's action. So when he went looking through karma yoga, understanding one's understanding the philosophy helped VVS Lakshman overcome this. So it's incredibly relevant to people's problems currently, even though it's such an ancient text. It still provides timeless wisdom to this day. All right, how about in psychology? So I think the psychology thing is a little bit more obvious, but so important, right? When we in our Krishna conscious society, when we see something tough happening to us in our lives, or something rough happening in another person's life, the way we mourn also is all surrounded around this uplifting and uplifting philosophy of the Gita, that, for example, the soul passes on from boyhood to youth age to old age and death and so on, right? When the way we mourn is centered around this uplifting philosophy that we are eternal, Satchidananda, the way we intellectualize our suffering is that this world is a place of suffering, and we have a higher taste that we are striving for, and that we can remain still, just like the rivers may flow into the ocean, but the ocean will remain still. Similarly, we strive to be like that, like a lamp on a windless night, right? All of this is how us as devotees, we work through so many psychological problems, and Arjuna is going through this kind of thing, right? He's the archetypical character of one who is going through suffering, going through depression, this hero that is overwhelmed and depressed. And here you can see a depressed lady and a picture of a depressed lady and Arjuna side by side is very similar, the symptoms he expressed. So modern psychologists from, you can see, the Indian Journal of Psychiatry have also been exploring this, right? There's this, I was so amazed when I read this. The NCBI is the National Center for Information of Biotechnology. It is the place for any scientific paper, right? Going through many peer review processes, very, very intense. They have this journal article from the Indian Journal of Psychiatry, and it mentions a little bit about the Bhagavad Gita and contemporary psychotherapies. Here, I'll just show you a little bit. I'll show you a few images from this. This is real scientists. These are real scientists, real psychologists who are exploring this. Notions on mindfulness. Some of you may even recognize these. Even as waters flow into the ocean, but the ocean never overflows, even so the sage feels desires, but he is ever one in his infinite peace. So many different things. Promoting self-efficacy. This is a very important psychological concept. How we promote our own motivation, our self-esteem, and how Krishna encourages Arjuna, that is mentioned. This is a beautiful example of how the Bhagavad Gita has remained relevant in psychology. We have our wonderful Jay Shetty, who is promoting Gita wisdom. This beautiful video with Will Smith, and they're talking and discussing about how the Gita has changed their lives, how it promotes psychology. And this book by Jay Shetty has been read by millions of people. It was a #1 New York Times bestseller, and in it, every chapter, I think, almost every chapter, he mentions something from the Bhagavad Gita, some lesson from the Bhagavad Gita, and it's very, 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 very amazing how the Bhagavad Gita is being used not in a way to preach, but rather than just to uplift humanity to the level of sattva, right? Just to uplift humanity to the level of goodness. This is a picture of FitTuber. He's a very popular Indian YouTuber. He promotes a lot of health and lifestyle benefits. And here's a video of how to stop overthinking. He talks about how we can stop overthinking by looking at the Karmanyavadikaraste verse and many others. So Bhagavad Gita in psychology is very, very popular right now. In politics, let's look at what's happening in politics. So currently, Rishi Sunak took oath of the Bhagavad Gita recently. So he's a practicing Hindu, so we're seeing that the Bhagavad Gita is empowering people in power. It is a staple in their lives. 18,000 students recite Bhagavad Gita slokas in Kurukshetra. So here we have in our little ISKCON of Central New Jersey, we had around 16 children recite the Bhagavad slokas all from memory, and we're seeing that it's continuing to be this thing that is being encouraged and emphasized across the world. Finally, we see over here the Gita is to be included in NCERT textbooks. So the NCERT is the standardized curriculum in India, and there is talk that it will be included in the curriculum of students. In Cambridge University, the Bhagavad Gita has also been used, so it keeps on showing up across places we wouldn't really expect even for it to show up. And that is really so powerful to see. Let's keep going. So I have over here the Bhagavad Gita in ICNJ. Here 16 kids have come together to memorize all 700 verses of the Gita. Really such a lovely sight, right? And it was so wonderful to hear the Gita, right? To sing the Gita, right? To hear it in its form. To enjoy the Sanskrit, because that is how Krishna had spoken it to by oral word it was spoken. So it's really lovely to hear all the wonderful kids speak the Gita Mahatmya, the Gita Mahayagya. And I wanted to come back to this, the cow analogy from the Gita Mahatmya. Krishna is the milker. The cow is the Upanishads. The mother cow is the Upanishad. The calf is Arjuna, and all the other devotees waiting in line are eager are the next audience for this milk, right? Who will get to drink this milk next. This milk of the Gitas is available and free to all of us, and we are all invited to take part, and not just, like when we have milk we don't just keep it in a when we have milk, we don't just keep it in a glass and keep it on our table and just look at it, right? We drink it, we enjoy it, we feel nourished by it, we enhance our lives from drinking it. So my mom actually gave me this milk, but I haven't drunk it yet, but now I think I should, because the Gita is like this. The Gita is milk, and it nourishes us. So similarly, if we can sit down and we can feel nourished by the Gita, by reading it, by studying it, right? Srila Prabhupada says that I would like my disciples to study the Bhagavad Gita like it is a law book, right? And become lawyers and be able to quote from the Gita left, right, and center in the courtroom of life, in the courtroom of the world, right? To be able to navigate difficult situations, we can really study, feel nourished, and feel encouraged by the Gita. That is so powerful if we are able to do that for ourselves. So thank you all so much for listening a little bit to this Gita Mahatmya. I think it was a little different than maybe you had expected. I tried my best to convey a little bit of why I think this Gita is timeless, why I think this Gita is just so amazing and practical and for us, rather than just being a book that we consider pious on our shelf, like Mr. Kumar was mentioning, right? It is something that is alive and can be used in our lives. Maybe we can hear from all of you. I think I have 9 minutes extra. I want to hear from all of you. Maybe you can share with me what your favorite verse from the Gita is, and how you think it's relevant to you in your life. Or any other reflections or questions are welcome.
Everybody's unmuted. You can unmute and say something. Thank you very much, Surabhi. Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anyone would like to share?
Hare Krishna. Surabhi, Haribol, very nice class.
Very
So
bold.
the words you were asking, right?
Yes. Let's
The
hear.
words I like is from 1876, I think. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna
Oh,
Yatra Partha Dhanurdaraha Tatra
nice.
Sri Vijayir Bhutir Dhruva Nitir
Dear,
Matir.
dear Mama.
So that attracted me so much because this verse was spoken by Sanjaya, right? And he is relaying the events that are happening in the Kurukshetra area to Dhritarashtra, and he was very bold to say that statement there because he's talking to his king, and he's telling that he's putting his opinion there. Wherever there is Krishna, the Yogeshwara, and wherever there is Arjuna, these four things are there. So the victory is for Pandavas, and there will be defeat for your sons. He's directly saying that. So that boldness I see there, and that's why I like that verse so much.
Yeah, that's a really nice, that courage, right?
Yeah.
From hearing the Bhagavad Gita, maybe.
Yeah.
Gave him courage. Very nice. Yeah. Hopefully we can bring that courage to our own lives. Thank you.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. That's required.
Yes. Thank you, Hare Krishna Prabhu. That was actually the first verse I ever learned growing up. So I have a very, like when I was asked to memorize a verse, that was the verse I spoke at my first Gita Jayanti. So it's a very special part.
You don't believe me? That was the first verse I learned also.
No way!
Yeah,
it's a very nice verse. I love that verse. I also like that verse because it means that, you know, Krishna is on the side of his devotees. And we may think that we are failing all the time in life, but if Krishna is on our side because we are devotees, so we will win ultimately. And I think that's also why I like that verse. It's really beautiful and powerful.
Yeah, it's not about only winning. He's telling like Dhruva, Niti, Matir, Mama. Everything is there. Like he's giving four Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna Yatra Partha Tatra Sri, there is Lakshmi, there is wealth. Yeah, Tatra Sri Vijaya, victory is there. Bhoot is like all kinds of material benefits you have it. And his Matir,
Not
Mama.
just winning,
Yeah, everything is there. Yeah.
That's true. That's so true. Beautiful. Thank you, Prabhu. Anyone else want to share? Yashika, are you there? Do you have a favorite verse? Or is Tulika Mataji with Bhav? Maybe not. Maybe they left.
Amritanand Prabhu has raised his hand.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
Amritananda Prabhu. Yes, please share. I'd love to hear from you.
Please accept my humble obeisance. All glories to Prabhupada. Thank you so much, as always. My favorite verse is Sarva Dharman Parityaja.
Very popular verse. Tell me why it's special to you. I'm sure you have some special reason.
It is the summum bonum. Now, Bhagavad Gita has so much of information, Divya Gyan.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, Krishna says, just abandon all varieties of religion, dharma. So dharma is religion. Either whatever we have been practicing or not practicing, and just surrender to me. He leaves it over there. He doesn't make any compulsion. So if you're being reasonable, and then you say, okay, this is what's there. If I do this, this is what will happen. You know, I'm going to take care of you. I'll deliver you from all reaction. And he leaves it to your choice, which means that if you're going to pursue this further, that's where the, how do you say, that's where it actually begins, the journey. So far, he has laid out a roadmap and he has explained everything. And then he finally says, do this. And if you're really serious, that's when you take the next steps, which of course it is in this age of Kali, that Hare Nam, Hare Nam. That's what you do. And that's how, of course, Mahaprabhu came here to show us how you do Sarva Dharman Parityaja. So that to me is very, very special. Bhagavad Gita. Each instruction is a gem in itself.
Yeah.
Summum bonum of the entire Gita.
Isn't that one verse?
That one instruction. Abandon all varieties.
Yeah. That's very nice. Yes. I like what you mentioned about there being a choice, right? There being free will still, right? We might encourage our friends, our children, so many people as well-wishers, but to give them the free will to make those choices, Krishna is, that old friend, right? Always coming back for us. Thank you for sharing, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Surabhi. Yeah, it was like so amazing to be a part of this. Like I don't get chance usually to go through like all the lecture series. I missed it, but I was trying to make sure like at least the last day if I can hear, and it was so amazing to be listening to like Prabhuji's before you and yourself, like amazing coverage of like all the aspects of Bhagavad Gita, and the slide shows like showing different parts of the life where you have included like sports person, the politicians, and like the monks and everybody, and that's basically encouraging because nowadays like everybody is so much stressed, and today's lifestyle is so hectic, where Bhagavad Gita it gives you like the hint, and where like you mentioned like V.V. Lakshman and like the other sports person, like how they got like motivated just before entering in the arena there. So that's something like just it's very inspiring, like where the kids also get the message, like where the big figures are showing their interest. So it's like a lot of learning is involved, and it's not just like Bhagavad Gita and ISKCON and just Prabhupada. It's like basic essence, right? And how easily like Krishna is giving the nectar of Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, like very nicely you explain like example giving like a cow and milking and that part. So everything was like very beautifully covered. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it. I spoke to Dev Prabhuji yesterday, so I got a lot of hints from him. But I know, coming from you as a dentist who works very far away and has 2 kids to take care of and is a really wonderful mother. You came home from work so late and then you dropped Yashika to spend time with me. You're so busy. If you're saying, life is so hectic, and if you're saying that the Gita is bringing some light and joy to your life, that is a very big testament. So thank you for sharing that.
No, definitely I mean it. I just don't say it because I feel like ISKCON has played a vital role in guiding and shaping the mood and character of my kids, besides myself. And the basic essence still stays the same. Like, I'm not very good in Sanskrit, but I just try to understand the meaning of that. And meaning is basically like whatever you do, just dedicate it to Krishna. And he's your like taking care of you in every aspect, like 24/7. So just we should admire, like we are parents at very minute scale, right? When compared to Lord Krishna, he's taking care of so many universes, and with the same smile and like same elegance, and I'm so much fond of him. So I really appreciate.
He's your role model. Thank you. Yeah, that was beautiful, that analogy. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Think of that.
Okay, thank you very much, everyone, for your participation. Time 8:32. Madhubal Prabhu, anything you want to say? Concluding session of 2 weeks.
No, thank you very much for everybody speaking about Bhagavad Gita. Now is the next step, distribution of it. So, Yatya Yogeshwara Krishna. So, after that, everybody was ready to fight. No, Mr. Arjuna was ready to fight. Right. So, let's take the next few days left before 2023, where we can take this wonderful weapon of Bhagavad Gita and distribute it. So my humble request is, whoever you find, distribute them at least one weapon, one Bhagavad Gita. It will work wonders in their life. So thank you very much to all of you for listening all these days, and the presenters to present it, Surabhi Sundarachalam Mataji to summarize it, glorify it at the end. Hari Hari. Yeah, that's what I have.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Okay, thank you, everyone. All the wonderful speakers for last 2 weeks. It's amazing sessions. So please upload or share, I think, in a Google Drive. Prabhu, if you can share a Google Drive in that WhatsApp group so that everybody can put their presentations. I think devotee is requested so that we can post it in Japatam later on. So let us conclude. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Mancha kalpatarubhasya kripa sindhubhayam
Sitaram Bhavani Vishnu Namah.
Vaishnava ki jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.